Welcome back. It is day 19 of 100 days of practice. I know it's been about a year and a half since I posted day 18, but to be fair, I never said these would be consecutive. So today we are talking about live looping with clarinet, or bass clarinet, as is going to be the example I'm using today. So this is a little bit more of an advanced topic. So if you're here for more like clarinet basics, you can stay tuned. This might be something that interests you down the road. Or if you're ready to dive in and explore some like live electronics in your performing, this is for you. I've been really interested in looping for several years. The first time I saw someone live looping that I thought was amazing was Reggie Watts. So if you're not familiar with him, check him out. He's incredibly talented, very versatile artist. He's really well known for building rich and like thickly layered solo performances just with like live loop pedal. Check him out for sure. I'll have links in the description. And then what really brought it home to me and made me realize that I could be doing something like that as a wind instrumentalist is the Australian artist Lindsay Pollock. Of course, his Carrot Clarinet video is iconic. If you haven't seen that, I'll also include links to that below. But basically he's an Australian musician who uses a lot of found objects and objects that he creates to make music in really unconventional ways, and a lot of that involves solo performance with live looping. The piece I'm going to use today as an example is written by my good friend and fellow clarinetist, Eric Salazar. He lives up in Indianapolis. He's recently gotten into looping and effects pedals on his clarinet, and so in the process of showing you how the loop pedal works, I'll be demonstrating his piece, and then I found myself. For clarinet and loop station, although today I'll be playing it on bass clarinet. It's a really fun piece. If you're just starting out with live electronics, I would say this is a very good one to start with. Very aurally gratifying, it's fun to play, and it's pretty forgiving. So let's talk equipment. Here's what you're going to need. To perform this piece, you'll need some way of getting the sound from your instrument to the loop pedal. The way that I do that is with a piezo barrel pickup. This is Australian made. I found this when I was combing through FAQs on Lindsay Pollock's page about the equipment he uses, and I really liked the sound he was getting, and so I came across this. So this is what we call a piezoelectric pickup. So unlike a traditional like electric guitar pickup that uses magnetic fields, this actually picks up the vibrations of your instrument, or in this case the vibrations of the airstream inside the instrument, and then transduces that into sound waves that we amplify. The benefit to using a piezo barrel pickup over a traditional pickup that uses magnetic fields is that you're not going to get that electric hum in your sound. You're not going to get kind of a feedback. And you may be wondering, why use a pickup at all? Why not use a microphone? And the reason I use a pickup is because I play in a lot of bands on bass clarinet, like loud bands, and when you're on stage with an instrument as long as a bass clarinet, it becomes very difficult to mic it. If you have just one microphone placed in front of the bass clarinet, and the sound really escapes basically at the first few open tone holes that are available, depending on what note you're playing, it's a lot of area to try to cover with a single mic. That, and you also get bleed through other instruments being picked up on the mic, and what you get is usually like a couple notes on the bass clarinet coming out really, really loud, and then everything else basically being lost in the mix. So with something like this, you get a really even response because it's directly contacting the air. So here's how I use this. For this specific kind of pickup, you do need to have a hole drilled into your mouthpiece or your neck. But friends, this is a buffet Tosca. I'm not going to drill a hole in my neck. So this is actually just a stock mouthpiece. I didn't want to drill into one of my really nice ones and then find out that it played terribly. So this is actually just a stock mouthpiece that I had the piezo barrel maker drill for me. I did not trust myself to do it. He does have DIY kits and instructions on how to drill the hole yourself. I was not going to try that. If you wanted to play this mouthpiece without it, there is a little plug you can screw in so you can still play on the mouthpiece. But I pretty much only use this mouthpiece for this. So you go ahead, you thread this in, and then I connect a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch, and that goes into the pedal. Actually, one quick word before we get into the pedal. If you're someone who does not want to drill into their instrument, You can also get what's called a contact mic, which is also a different kind of piezoelectric pickup. It just has like a little sticky surface which you adhere to either like the mouthpiece, the barrel. I've even heard of people doing it on the reed. These are very inexpensive. You can find them super cheaply online. The problem is that this sound is not very good. It tends to be very buzzy and just kind of dull sounding. But if you don't want to drill into your instrument, that is an option. I even have friends who say that they make their own contact mics. They're super easy to make apparently and very inexpensive. So if you're kind of a DIY person or you're a kinesthetic learner, that might be an option for you too. So this is the pedal that I use. It's a Boss RC3. It's a pretty basic pedal. It was within my budget and it does basically everything I want to do. There's still features on it that I haven't used or completely figured out yet. It really does an astonishing amount for just being a small, compact little foot pedal. So I have my 1/8 inch plugged into my piezo, and I've got the 1/4 inch end plugged into input A of my pedal. The outer ring here controls the volume of the output. I don't have a replacement battery for this, so this is actually plugged into power. And then over here, plugging in an output cable is what's going to actually turn this on. And so it's set to 7 right now because the first 6 tracks, like the first 6 memory spaces on my pedal, have backup tracks that I use for like fixed media pieces with like, or pieces with just a backing track, things like that. So this is my first free space of memory. And then this cable goes out and connects into the input of just like a little pig nose practice amp. I may do a little bit of voiceover if I have to, but just the basics. When I'm ready to start playing, I'll hit this as I start and it will actually detect the tempo that I want to play at, which is amazing. I'll play through about a measure or so. I'll hit this to stop it and it should loop back. If I'm unhappy with how it sounds, I can hold down the pedal with my foot for a second and it'll flash UN for undo. It'll undo the most recent loop that you just added. And then once I'm satisfied with that, I just keep stacking them. Let's try this in action. This piece is And Then I Found Myself by Eric Salazar. so I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe you learned a little something about the basics of using an effects pedal. I don't think of myself as a very tech-savvy person, so if I can figure it out, I feel pretty confident most people can figure it out. For more of Eric Salazar's music, you can check out a link to his page in the description box below, and see you at some point for day 20. Bye!